Over the past few billion years, the Earth is evolving. It's a disaster. Like being hit by an asteroid from outer space, gamma-ray leopard attack in deep space, and its own ice age, and supervolcanoes and so on. It can be said that life on Earth can survive. It was a total miracle. And today, let's look back at the evolutionary history of the Earth to witness how did the Earth go from itinerary to evolution. Countless voices. Hello, this is the Infinite Universe. Welcome to this episode. To understand the evolution of the Earth, we have to turn back the clock. Travel to 4.60 billion years ago. About 4.60 billion years ago, our solar system had come out of a giant expanse of molecular tillage. This nebula not only collapses under the influence of attractive forces and form a vortex. As more and more matter gathers, the temperature and pressure at the core of the nebula also rise. After meeting certain conditions, hydrogen heats and reacts in the center. And so our primordial sun was born. After the birth of the sun, distal residue, it continues to revolve around the sun. Over time, these substances gather under the influence of attractive forces. Gas formed gaseous planets. The heavy elements formed Mars, a rocky planet like Earth. In the earliest times, our planet was very active. It spews out hydrogen sulfide, gases like methane and carbon dioxide. And these gases form the original atmosphere. At the same time, the Earth will continue to suffer asteroid impact from space. But soon, Earth experienced a more violent impact. About 4.50 billion years ago, a planet the size of Mars is headed straight for Earth. Then under this epic impact, the planet was almost completely destroyed, throwing massive amounts of material into Earth's orbit. An attractive force holds the pieces together, and that formed our moon. At this time, the Earth already had satellites, but the surface is still in a hot lava state. There is no ocean. All water exists as a gas. Over time, the temperature starts to drop. The ground gradually cools and solidifies, and the water also condenses into small water droplets and fell in the form of rain. And that's how the oceans are formed. The Earth became a watery world. Water is an essential ingredient for the creation of living things. About 3.80 billion years ago, water life has emerged from Earth's underwater hot springs. These earliest life forms, it's the most primitive single-celled form of life. For nearly 1 billion years, these organisms changed the course of the world. They have evolved. United life emerged. About 2.50 billion years ago, the Earth underwent a major oxidation event. Cyanobacteria have evolved into our planet, the first photosynthesis device. The Earth began to fill with oxygen, but as time goes by, more oxygen on Earth, and carbon dioxide levels go down, causing the Earth to get colder. So 2.40 billion years ago experienced the first ice age. The entire planet is almost frozen. About 2.35 billion years ago, the ice started to retreat. The continents are constantly drifting and reassembling. A supercontinent formed 1.80 billion years ago. It's called the Columbia supercontinent. And at this time, life in the ocean, it gets more complicated. They have evolved over time, from the original source and life, evolved into truth and life. Then about 540 million years ago, there was an explosion of life. This is called the Cambrian explosion. During this period, evolved animals have hard body parts, like amputated limbs, chordates, etc. The most famous of these is the trilobite. About 440 million years ago, a star 6,000 light-years away, a supernova occurred, and the gamma rays that it produces hit the Earth and destroyed about half of the Earth's ozone layer, causing dramatic changes in the Earth's climate. Nearly 80% of species were wiped out. The Earth experienced its first mass extinction. This incident, called the Ordovician Retainer Mass Extinction Event. In the days that followed, after a long recovery, the Earth began to come alive. 350 million years ago, the first trees were born from the Earth's soil, and the first marine animals are beginning to make their way. 250 million years ago, an unprecedented event took place on Earth. After continuous volcanic eruptions, lots of toxic gases and dust covered the entire Earth. Due to the inability of living things to adapt to severe climate change, it wiped out 90% of all species. And this mass extinction event, it also paved the way for later animal evolution. 230 million years ago, the first dinosaurs appeared. They ruled the Earth for nearly 160 million years. If you can live in this era, then we will witness the greatest, largest land animal, and the most ferocious predators. But the good times didn't last long. As time goes by, a terrible disaster is coming to an end. About 65 million years ago, an asteroid 10 kilometers in diameter hit our Earth. The power of its impact, over 100 trillion tons of TNT equivalent, in a violent impact, makes a lot of dust fragments fly to an altitude of 10,000 meters. And that dust then travels through the atmosphere, scattered around the world, and block out the sun, causing devastating climate change on Earth. The dinosaurs that finally ruled the Earth for 160 million years, the road to extinction. Only small mammals survived. And this is the extinction, appeared for later humans. It paved the way. About 6 million years ago, a whole new species has emerged. They are the earliest known humans. That's Jiu Yuan, the ancestors of humans. You can still walk on all fours. Until 4 million years ago, Furuhara just started to transition from limbs to upright walking, and then they evolved over millions of years. We have Homo sapiens. And I learned how to use tools, and how to control fire. About 10,000 years ago, there are only lay humans left on Earth. They are no longer nomadic. It's about settling down. Entered the agricultural era. The earliest text appears at this time, the dawn of civilization. About 250 years ago, humans have entered the Industrial Revolution, ushered in the era of machines replacing manual labor. Our social system and culture, something big happened, and the population is growing. In the last century, human technology has reached a new height and entered the space age. We have been able to leave the Earth to the distant moon, and man-made unmanned probes have even arrived deep in the solar system. To this day, human technology is still evolving. I don't know in the future what will be the fate of humanity. But that's another story.